All right. So good evening and welcome to the Coffeyville City Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 11th. At this time, we'll take roll.
Mayor Bauer,
Here.
Commissioner Maxon, Commissioner York,
Here.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Here.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Here.
Well, tonight's invocation was going to be led by Pastor Doug Munn, but it's going to be led by Paul Kreitz. So please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Here we go. Let's bow our heads. Father in heaven, we are thankful for this day. We're thankful for the opportunity to be here this evening and to discuss city business. We pray that you'll be with us as we conduct city business. Father, and help guide our decisions that are made tonight. We pray that you'll be with the leaders of this city and this state, our nation, and the world as we continue to contend with the COVID-19. We just pray that solutions will be found that we can get back to a more normal way of living in the near future. We just pray your blessings on all of us in our community of Coffeyville. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
It's time we'll move into the consent agenda. First item is City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, July 28, 2020. Second item, second reading of ordinance number G-20-01, ordinance for cost of service updates, electric rate adjustments. And item 3, 2020 appropriation ordinance number AO-20-15, in the amount of $1,145,389.30. Questions, comments, or amendments to the first three items on the consent agenda?
Only thing I have is that this time our payroll amounted to about $382,000. Part of our appropriation ordinance does consist of the sales tax that we collected on part of CRMC, and that was for $71,900. Finally got that structure that I think at least we've all been asking about on 2nd Street, and the 900 block was torn down. That had a fire and was pretty bad since I think it was March. And that was pretty costly, but I know it was a mess. That ran about $6,500. Also on here is our payment to Quality Motors for $38,000 for the fire department vehicle, which that is a vehicle that came through that we really got. We've already received the money from Firehouse Subs for that. They put in a grant and they were awarded it, and so that vehicle probably will be to us in the next few weeks. And then payment to, I think it's Olson and Associates, $4,800 for Highland Road design, and hopefully we're getting closer on that because that's payment number 7. So I know they're anxious down that way to get something going. So that's all I have.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll move to approve items 1 through 3 on the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye. Comments from the public. The public is free to comment on items not listed on the agenda. Please address comments to the commission as a body and be mindful of others who may also wish to speak by limiting your comments to 3 minutes. An open mic. No one? All right. This time we'll move into public hearing, special presentation, and proclamations. Item number 1 is a public hearing for the fiscal year 2021 budget. Finance Director Stephanie Richardson will make comments.
Can't see you with that on.
And
Mayor
same
and Commissioners, Mayor and Commissioners, tonight I bring to you the budget that we worked on in our public work sessions. We did meet with the commission on July 13th, 15th, 16th, and 21st, going over the budget that we have put together. We set the public hearing for this evening, which is one of the requirements of publishing our budget, and then having the public hearing. So we set that at our last commission meeting, so this evening we need to hold that public hearing and allow any comments from the public. Taking that into consideration and then moving on to the resolution that would approve the budget for the fiscal year 2021. Just to kind of quickly run through this, some of the numbers that were included in the notice of public hearing. We did have another decrease this year in our assessed valuation from $49,226,497 last year down to $47,375,896 this year. So our assessed valuation decreased $1,850,601. In order to leave the mill levy the same at the 53.022 that we have for this current year, that amounted to a decrease right off the top of tax levy of $98,107. We have also continued to see the decrease in our franchise taxes. We've seen decreases in some of our utility revenues, those kind of things. But as we discussed in our budget work sessions, we've kind of worked through those and figured out a way to come up with a budget that would hold the mill levy the same at the 53.022 mills. The city's general fund is proposed to go from 45.911 mills down slightly to 45.868 mills, while the library fund goes from 7.111 mills to 7.154 mills. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer those. Again, we need to hold the public hearing this evening to give the public the opportunity to speak to the budget and then move on to the resolution.
Thank you, Steve.
Any questions?
So you did a great job of putting the budget together, and I'm very appreciative
Well,
of it. So
I appreciate all of your work and
Yeah.
the time that you spent with us going through that. It's a
I know
challenge
there was
every year.
I know there was a lot of creative solutions with the amount of money that that has changed, not just this year, but, you know, I think the 1.8 million that you referenced, but, you know, it's closer to a little over 3 million over the last 2 years.
2 years,
You know,
absolutely.
since, 2019 to 2021. So, and just so everyone's aware, you know, in 2019, we were at 53.13 mil, last year at 53.022, and we held it at 53.022 this year. So, seems like we're doing more with less, but I got to give credit to where it is due, and that's in all the staff
Yes.
The
members.
staff, yes.
And I was glad we were able to hold that, because I remember last year when we finished the budget session, those of us, we said, we hope to be, when we return this year, that we can maintain it at least and not have to, and especially now during what everybody's going through.
Absolutely.
I think it's, there's a lot, the city's going through itself, but our community is going through. So that, I'm very happy that we can maintain that level for everybody right now.
And just a reminder, this is what we submit to the county now. They'll calculate and do the final assessed valuation in November, so this may change slightly. Last year when we turned it in at the 53.13, and it dropped to the 53.022. So
Yep.
we may see a slight adjustment
Right.
Okay.
till
Depending on what the
November.
final-
But
yeah. I do want to say, as a community, as a city, so we've got to figure out how to fix this assessed value and fix our continuing decline in it. So as a community, it's something we've really got to focus on, is how do we fix this? So we can't continue to go this direction
Yep.
with our budget, so
Over to public
do
hearing.
we need to open up? Yeah.
Yeah. So this time we'll open to public hearing. Anyone wants to come up and make comments, please step up to the podium at this time. None? All right. We'll close the public hearing. Moving to item 2, resolution number R-20-52, a resolution to approve and authorize the certification of the fiscal year 2021 City of Coffeyville municipal budget with total expenditures of $86,953,955 and authorizing $2,511,966 to be the amount of ad valorem tax to be levied with an estimated mill levy of 53.022 mills. Director of Finance Stephanie Richardson.
It's a mouthful.
There's a lot. All them numbers.
Really. If you don't have any additional questions, this is the resolution that will officially approve the budget, and then I'll get this submitted to the county before the 25th deadline.
And then when will we hear the final mill levy number from the county?
Usually in November, the very first part of November, yeah.
If there are no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R20-52 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Vice Mayor Dome to approve Resolution R-20-52 as presented. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dome.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye. Thank you, Stephanie.
And just a reminder, I'll need each of you to sign that front
Yep.
page on the budget sheet before we leave this.
She beat you to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Item number 3, Peggy Still Annual Summary Presentation. Peggy Still will make comments.
Well, this year we have a little surprise.
All right.
This is the fourth
We
time.
like surprises.
Yes.
And instead of doing my usual PowerPoint, next slide, please. Becky. We thought we would give you a little Broadway. So I don't have to say anything, but I think Chris has Chris has it set up, so he's ready to go.
All right.
Good.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the sea, makes it all clean. Time will come around when you'll say it's yours. Believe that you can go. Believe you can float on air. Then click your heels 3 times if you believe. Then you'll be there. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in the magic that's inside your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told you to, but believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, just believe in yourself as I believe in you.
Better than a PowerPoint, don't you think?
Yeah, that was nice.
Nicely done.
So I learned that on my iPad with iMovie, in case you want to know. So I was really proud of that. So you did have a one-page overview that has a little more detail in it. I think most of you are familiar with the projects and the fact that, you know, the city has been amazing all the way through this process. And today, I hope to get approval for my final loan on 1105. And I think we're ending this as the phase of the homes we're redoing. We are moving on to the next phase, which is encouraging young people to come in and not be afraid of these homes. And we have 3 different bungalows that are being purchased, but one for sure, and 2 we think, by young folks, and they're going to go in and renovate them and do the work. It'll take a little longer, but if we can really get that going, this is a good thing for everybody. There's no downside to it.
Yep.
And so we're delighted with that. In 10 days, we'll be able to announce a grant that we cannot announce now because the organization that gave it to us hasn't announced yet, but it's a grant to improve a contest where we'll be improving cosmetically 4 homes that our owner lived in the old bungalows on the outside. So that'll be a real boost. So we're just really excited about what's happening. Finally, in the neighborhood, we're turning over the management of the gardens to Joby Morgan, who's a professional person, and she really knows what she's doing. So she'll be able to expand it, and we're really looking at putting flower lots on our Willow property and really doing some great things. And we hope that spurs more people to participate. So that's where we are.
Fantastic.
So Peggy,
Great,
one
wonderful.
thing you didn't mention in your video, and I think needs to be called out as well. So it's not just that you and Ron improved those properties, but you inspired others within the community and within that neighborhood to work on theirs as well. So you see other people improving their properties along that stretch as well.
Yeah,
which
you do. It's
they-
really, it is
yeah.
that broken window theory.
Absolutely.
And it's alive and well, and we're just thrilled.
Well,
You
we
know,
talk
we're-
about fixing assessed values. That's one of the
Yeah,
approaches
that's
that
right.
gets us there. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. Thanks for your support. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
As always, thank you
Wonderful.
guys are doing great things. Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can make that available online for people to view?
Yes, I could, if you have Dropbox. I can't just send, I'll work with Chris. Chris has got it. He gave us a thumbs up. So Jim, yeah.
Okay, maybe on the city side or something, maybe
Okay.
let me see.
I'll work with Chris.
I
and
agree.
figure it
Yeah.
out. So, yeah. Okay, good.
Good suggestion, Jim.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. All right, moving into new business. Resolution number R-20-53, a resolution to approve a loan application for the Distressed Housing Reinvestment Program for Peggy Steele, DBA Properties in the Ville. Finance Director Stephanie Richardson will make comments, and obviously Peggy Steele is in attendance.
It's hard to follow that.
Not right.
This is the distressed property reinvestment program that the city has available, and the funding was provided by the City of Coffeyville and the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation several years ago. The goal of the program is to rehab and rehabilitate distressed housing in targeted neighborhoods, and I think we've seen some good examples of what Peggy's been able to do with the homes that she has. She had come to the city prior and received a $20,000 loan on the house at 1105 West 9th. She had received a loan for $20,000. She has come back and asked to have a second $20,000, which is the max of the program at the $40,000, to work on some additional items that has come up in the program. If approved, the loan is for 10 years at 2.75% interest. Once $15,000 of the principal balance has been paid, then the final $5,000 is forgiven as part of this program. So after, if this loan is approved and we do make the payout for $20,000 for her, the balance that we have available for others in the community that are looking for this kind of thing is $34,708.62.
Answer my question.
Did you say 62 on the change?
Yes. Yes.
Questions or comments?
No?
Obviously,
Have fun.
I think the presentation speaks for itself on,
Yes.
on what this group has been able to do. So
Yeah.
I have no questions. I think you've done a great job in really investing back into the city of Coffeyville, not only on Ninth Street, but downtown, and helping with, be involved as much as
Very good.
anything, so.
If no questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R-20-53 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Bauer to approve Resolution R-20-53 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Thank you, Peggy.
Yes.
Thanks, Peggy.
Resolution number R-20-54, a resolution to authorize an agreement with Asplin Tree Expert Company for the line clearing tree trimming services for the City of Coffeyville Electric Utility. Director Mike Shook will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. The Electric Distribution Department employs a contractor to perform tree trimming services on approximately 200 miles of distribution lines in our city, including 16 miles of transmission lines. Staff issued a request for proposals on June 24th of this year, issued proposals for a three-man crew plus a bucket truck, chipper, and hand tools. We received 3 proposals for that RFP. The RFP requested additional information concerning qualifications, experience, safety program, training, and again, the 3-year hourly rate for a 3-man crew, the truck, and a chipper. Asplin came in as the lowest cost for all 3 years, the first year being $129.99 per hour. Asplin by far has the greatest experience, the most equipment, manpower, and additional resources available in southeast Kansas, less than 30 minutes away, should it be needed for storm restoration efforts or additional trimming. Based on the proposals received and the pricing and our satisfaction with Asplin's performance over the last 3 years, staff is recommending that the mayor be authorized to execute an agreement with the Asplin Tree Expert Company to provide line clearance, tree trimming services at the proposed rates. And I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
So Mike, I noticed this has a not to exceed $277,500 annually. Is that higher than what we've done in the past, or is it the same? Or
It's a little bit higher because they did increase their rates, and
Okay.
as each year they proposed a small rate increase. We normally don't spend that much because
Right.
of if a crew currently we've got a crew that's in New York, or they pulled our crew, they ask our permission. But with the storms back east, they pulled our crew for a week. So we normally don't spend. We take that amount, the hourly rate times for the number of days per year. So we normally don't reach that number, but we have to budget for that.
We've talked about Ashland before, when the last time we signed their contract, so you were pleased with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've ventured away and tried other smaller firms, and we've just not had the luck.
Yep.
And the
Well,
performance
like
that we
I said,
have
if you
with
have
Zasper.
one major storm and, you know, you find out who has the resources to step up and get these back operating quickly, so.
Absolutely, and
Yep.
they're only as good as the crew that they send here locally. And we've been blessed to have a good crew, a 3-man crew. They're all hard workers, and they're self-motivated, so we appreciate them.
Good.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Questions, any other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-20-54 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve Resolution R-20-54 as presented. Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Resolution number R-20-55, a resolution to set a public hearing for consideration of vacating several streets in and around the CVR expansion area. Superintendent of Engineering Thomas Osborne will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. We have received a petition from CVR Energy for several street vacations. Looks like Chris has a kind of an overview. We received that in the city clerk, and so this is just to set the public hearing by state statute. We have to post that public hearing date 20 days in the local paper, advance in the local paper. So this will set the hearing date for September 8th. And we will also be going to the Planning and Zoning Board on September 1st to get their recommendations for you guys as well. I've already started sending this information out to our local utilities as
Yep.
well as police and fire, so we're getting comments back on those as well. So, and we'll have that all ready, as well as they will be here on the 8th.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing behind this is that it's going to take the input of these individuals, right? I mean, I know the electric department's probably going to have some questions about
Yeah.
access
Yeah,
to
there's
certain
some
things. I
access
think the sewer
requirements
department,
and
you know, the stormwater, they're going to have
relocation,
questions.
Yep, some utility relocates and everything else will be,
Yep.
have to be
Yes.
included in all.
And I'm sure there's going to be individuals that are going to have questions if they're going to block off First Street basically from the railroad track to Sunflower.
Yep.
Right? I mean, because I know that there's a lot of traffic that still
Yes.
goes down that street.
So-
So,
Right.
So does that leave that, and maybe this is premature to ask this, but the intersection there at First and Sycamore, so does that leave that open, so like I'm looking at
Yeah,
Sardis
to-
Baptist Church, right? So
Yep.
people could still come there, turn and get to
Yes,
to
it
the
would leave that
church and-
open.
Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution R-20-55, but I know there's going to be people here that's going to have a lot more questions than what I could
it's-
ever think of and
Be
concerns.
be ready
So
for a long one on that.
it's going to be a long
It
meeting,
will.
yes.
It will. I'll second it.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve Resolution R-20-55 as presented. Mayor Bauer,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Resolution number R-20-56, a resolution to accept, of acceptance for KDOT City Connection Link Improvement Project 2023 Pavement Restoration Grant and Programming Request. Superintendent, Engineering Thomas Osborne.
Thank you again, Mayor Commissioners. Every year, KDOT issues a call for projects for what used to be called T-Works. Now they call it their CLINK program, or C-CLIP program, sorry. CLINK was used to be one
Was
of the
the other
options.
one, right.
Yeah, CLINK was the old one. So in that program, there are 3 different types of projects, grant awards. First one would be for joint replacement, essentially surface preservation is what it's called. Second one would be a geometric improvement, which is like we did on 11th and Willow Street. And the third one, which is what we applied for, is a pavement replacement program. Our highways, especially Highway 169, they were built in '63. So we've gotten pretty much the life out of them. We've done multiple projects to extending that life by doing joint replacement and, different small ultra-thin overlays. But we're to that point where it's falling apart underneath on the bottom. It's ready to be replaced. We submitted for this project to maximize the grant allowed. So that's why it seems like a short and KDOT actually asked, why is it such a short? Well, it's the maximum of the project would, for the grant fund. So we met with KDOT on site to review the project. Obviously, they liked it, and it was one that was selected for, to be awarded. So this project would be 90-10 grant project. We would go out for consultant engineering for design, and KDOT would let in this project as well. So all the letting would be done by KDOT for this type of project.
So this is a complete tear out with asphalt going back.
It'll concrete.
Concrete? So just like we did over here.
Yep, so
Okay.
we'll rip it all the way out, and so where this starts, if you go
Yep.
south on US 166, 169, or 169 south, South Walnut, there's several, I don't remember what year it was, several years ago, there was a project that replaced a bunch of pavement into concrete. Where this starts at where that project ended.
Okay.
And we'll take concrete for roughly 1,000 feet.
Okay.
Well, I know one company I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, well, and that was one thing I was going to say, looking on here, there's a new business that's went in,
Yeah.
basically square in the middle of that, in the old, the Harrington deal. Well, the 7-Eleven's up here farther.
Yeah.
The 7-Eleven's up the old,
Yeah.
this is where Harrington's, where the animal clinic used to be, so that's gonna be square in the
Blue
middle.
Barn and, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just think we need to work very closely with these individuals that have these businesses, because they're startups, for one, and for two, COVID hasn't helped any small business out.
Yeah.
So we need to be very, very cautious when we,
Part of this it would be a requirement to maintain access.
yep,
Again,
Yeah,
it
there's
wasn't the
no-
greatest, but access was maintained to every
Yeah.
business along there.
There's no
I don't
back
disagree.
way into
Yeah,
these.
here,
Right,
it would be
yeah.
probably
It's a-
temporary surfacing
Yeah.
Yeah.
or gravel entrances that do happen at time. So,
well, I know that I agree that road needs to be fixed, and it's gonna go down, that'll take out where the water runs to, where that low spot is on the highway, across from Bookter Auto used to be
Yep.
there, whatever
Yep.
it was.
Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's in dire need, especially on the outside lane where the drains are. It's, you don't want to drive in that area. You have a
This
wheel
is
fall off your
kind
car.
of the hope is to just, just start picking away at it as we can.
Yep.
So, the city's portion for this is estimated, pull it back up here. Estimated for the city cost is
$196,000, right?
$196,267.19. And again, this would come from the sales tax revenues that we
Right.
get, so.
Transportation.
Yep. I don't have any.
So realistically, after everything's done, the design's made and so forth, when do you more than likely, providing we don't have any more setbacks of anything, do you see it being approximately?
2023, I think I put in the programming request for early
yeah.
2023.
Or is it on there?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to bid this as a calendar day project, or are we
It's-
looking at a working day?
It's
project?
whatever KDOT does. We don't really have much control over it.
Yep.
Can we recommend?
We can recommend, and one thing, and this is kind of getting back to calendar days versus
Yep.
working days. Working days is easier for the contractor, it's easier for KDOT, it's easier for everybody, because it's flexible, versus calendar days, they still get the weather days, they still get the cleanup days. All it does is that there's a date at the end of the project that they're trying to hit. So they're still going to have the same amount of time, same amount of days. It's doesn't really change much between the two.
Yeah.
It's just a date that's what they're shooting for, but they're still going to get the weather days. And so they still, you can't charge for acts of God. It's written in the KDOT spec, so.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, we need to fix that road. I mean,
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
that question. but- Anything else?
For no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R2056 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Mayor Bauer to approve Resolution R-20-56 as presented. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye. Resolution number R-20-57, a resolution to approve supplemental request from KDOT for third-party engineering services on the Safe Routes to School project. Superintendent Thomas Osborne.
Thank you again. This is for the Safe Routes to School project that was completed early this year. I think it was this year. This would be to cover the additional work that was required by the inspector to be on site during that project. That project is still, they're still going through KDOT's side of things for days, this, that, and the other, back and forth with the contractor. 10% or 80/20 was that grant. That the total amount was $21,332.07, and that covers cost. There is no profit involved in that for the consultant. That is strict cost based off the KDOT's approved forms.
Questions or comments?
The only question I had, so when you look at their format here, when you look at the summary total direct payroll cost, it shows total direct payroll cost of $8,912.50. And then under category B for that, it has salary-related overhead at 139.35% for a dollar amount of $12,419.57. Can you explain what that is?
I don't really know. I can ask KDOT exactly how that works out, because it's like, yeah, this is all ran through KDOT.
Right.
And we're just kind of the last.
Well, and I saw where
part of
they'd
it, so-
approved everything, so I assumed it was okay, but I just questioned what what that meant, so.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it was, I think that might have been for actual added days versus the time worked from weather related, because they're there whether it's raining. If the contractor's there, the inspector's there. And if the contractor's not getting charged today, it's because of weather related, because they're doing non-controlling item of work that they can do while it's raining. That inspection was not, that day for inspection was not included in the inspector's contract. A lot of times there's some weather days and stuff built into contracts, and we don't see those maximums. We see a lot of those for our local contracts as well, where we're not having that fee. But that, again, with the weather last year, just like the highway project, this project went extra long. And so I can do some more checking to see exactly where that is. Everything got approved by KDOT, so.
And this was a KDOT Coffeyville project, and what was Coffeyville's percentage on this project?
20%.
So, but we're picking up the whole expense of the,
It would just be 20% of that.
so
Should
we're
be.
actually only picking up
As far as I know, we're still under their.
like
their
4,000.
max.
So we're only picking up 4,000 of the 12. So we shouldn't be approving the 21,000,
Right.
21,332.07. We should be approving 20% of
Right,
that.
which the resolution is just to approve the supplemental agreement for, we
Okay.
have to approve the whole thing because it's a three-party agreement. But
Okay.
80% of that comes from
KDOT.
KDOT, 20% comes
We-
from us.
Yeah, so
So
that makes,
that we
so that makes a
clarify,
difference. I just want
yeah.
to clarify on that one.
I would like to know what that charge is. I mean, I'm not against approving this, I just want to know what that charge is, just for my own
Yep,
edification.
I will
Yeah.
get ahold of KDOT and ask.
So we'll table it
KDOT
until
and
next
BG,
meeting.
So,
We can approve it, I don't have
Just
a
wanna know
problem
what that
approving
is.
it, I just want to know what that
Okay.
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
wanna
if
make a
there's
motion?
no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R2057 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve Resolution R-20-57 as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye. Thank you, Thomas.
thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Ordinance number S-20-04, first reading of an ordinance rezoning 901 South Lewark Street in the city of Coffeyville, Kansas, and amending the official zoning map in accordance. Building official Matt Conger will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Evening.
Last Tuesday, August 4th, Mr. Irvin went before the Planning and Zoning Commission to request a rezone for 901 South Lewark from C3 Commercial Business District to C4 Service Commercial Business. District to operate a warehouse to store and ship aluminum extrusion products for canopies and awnings, I believe. The Planning Commission was fine with it. He had to get a conditional use with that, which they also approved pending your guys' decision on the
Yep.
rezone.
So are they going to build a building? Because it says it's going to be indoor. That's what I read. I think when I was reading through everything, this was going to be, everything would be stored indoors.
Yes.
So
It's
they're
not going
gonna
to be a
bu-
walk-in service. It's
Right.
actually, he actually doesn't have a territory to sell in Kansas. So
Okay.
he will just be shipping only out
Okay.
there. And he said if business is going good, anywhere from 2 to 6 employees locally,
Mhm.
if everything's going good.
So they're going to build a building on the north side of the old
No, they're
Dollar?
going to use the existing.
Oh, they're going to
building.
use the
Yeah.
existing building?
Right.
Okay, so it's not going to be
No, they're
very
not making
big.
any alterations to the building whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, at least it gets that building back into use.
Yeah.
again.
And we get
Utilities
some
were turned
additional
off in
employees.
14, I believe.
I'm sorry?
So the utilities haven't been on since 2014.
Right. Okay.
So it's been empty for a little while.
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with rezoning it. Does anyone else have any issues with it?
So there was no feedback from any of the folks living there on Luar?
No.
No.
That's what I thought.
What kind of truck traffic do they think will be in and out of there? Just, I
It's
mean,
not
will it
gonna
be
impede
industrial?
Traffic, he said maybe 1 to 2 trucks a day, if that.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a whole lot different than what was there, I mean,
No.
really, when the Dollar General was in there and
No.
they were doing 1 or 2 trucks,
Well, you
probably a
got-
week maybe,
You have
but,
Orscheln's there, you have
Mhm.
Brahms there, you have, I mean, it's
Yep.
a pretty heavily traveled area anyway, so.
good. No one else has any questions? I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number S-20-04 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve ordinance S-20-04 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Resolution number R-20-58, a resolution to authorize issuance of a purchase order in the sum of $477,024 for property insurance coverage on the electric utility system for the boiler and machinery insurance on the power plant. Mike Shook will make comments.
Mayor and Commissioners, staff previously worked with Charlesworth Consulting on an RFP to receive competitive pricing proposals for the renewal of their property insurance coverage for the electric system. We do that on a 3-year cycle. In 2018, we issued the competitive bidding process, and Coffeyville Insurance and Chubb were the recommended providers in 2018. We're in the final year of that, so it's time to, or after this last year, we'll go out for competitive bidding again. This year, Coffeyville Insurance and Chubb Group of Insurance Company, they've offered the following. They've offered 2 quotes, number 3 and 4. And that's going to be a little bit confusing. I didn't include 1 and 2 because we had some conversations with them and got them to revise their quotes. Quote number 3, the annual premium come in at $433,381 with an additional $16,234 for the terrorism coverage, bringing a total of $449,615. In the past, the commission has decided to reject the terrorism coverage. Quote number 3 would increase our flood coverage deductibles and increase the wind and hail deductible to a $250,000 minimum on all covered locations. Quote number 4 came in at $477,024 for the annual premium with an additional $17,129 for the terrorism coverage. Staff is recommending continuing coverage supplied by Coffeyville Insurance and Chubb Group of Insurance Companies as specified in the attached quote number 4, rejecting the terrorism coverage, bringing the annual cost to $477,024. Industry-wide, we're seeing large increases in our annual premium cost for property coverage. Staff is recommending that we go with Chubb on quote number 4 for the next policy year, and then again use Charlesworth the next year to competitively bid this and even consider, as last time, pooling our risk to actually reduce our premium charges. Staff recommends a purchase order be issued for the renewal of insurance to Coffeyville Insurance and Chubb Group of Insurance Companies in the amount of $477,024, selecting quote number 4, rejecting the terrorism coverage while maintaining the same coverages as the same previous 3 years, or 2 years rather. The cost as recommended equals a 3.9% overall increase in premium. And I would add that Stephanie worked hard with Coffeyville Insurance, and they did agree to reduce their commission this year from 10% to 5% to help reduce the cost. The original quote number one was about a 20, almost a 22% increase over the previous year, so they worked hard on this.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
We've had pretty good luck with Chubb, haven't we? We've had pretty good luck with them.
We've actually had 2 claims in the last 10 years that I'm aware of
Yeah.
that they've paid out, and they've been a good company to work with.
That's good.
So it's kind of an oddball question, but the terrorism piece of this, and I know everybody always just says, oh, we won't ever have that. What actually qualifies as an act of terrorism? Does it have to be declared that by the government for that?
I don't know the answer
Yeah.
to that, Commissioner York, but we can dig through the policy, and if it's not listed in there, we can get with Coffeyville Insurance and get a definition of
So
that.
I always turn it down on my stuff too, and I just wondered, but I'd never went out and researched what actually qualifies as an act of
Right.
terrorism, right? So
That would make sense, though. If somebody, I would assume at a federal level would have to qualify.
I thought when we decided that a few years ago that we read some verbiage in there that said, I think Taylor's the one who brought it up, that it has to be declared by the federal government
That
that it's
would
an
make
act of
sense.
terrorism.
Correct.
So that, as I recall, there was a lot of debate that night over this, so believe it or not, so.
it was just a question I had, it wasn't,
We'll see what we can
I don't
find
have a
out.
problem with not doing the terrorism piece of it, but I just wondered what qualifies.
You have the option.
Yep.
Any other questions,
No, sir.
comments?
I think it's well worth it to pay a little bit more to not adjust the deductibles.
I would agree.
Yeah.
We're just,
Especially
by
at the-
doing
at
so,
that
we're
rate.
just
Especially on
increasing
the
our
health
risk.
piece of it, yes.
That's right.
$250,000 is a lot of money,
Yeah.
That's right.
so.
I move to approve Resolution R-20-58 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve Resolution R-20-58 as presented. Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, thanks, Mike. City managers report.
Debbie, would you mind telling them about this? Just, I know it was, you received this, but I thought it'd be nice for her to tell you about it.
Well, every year my husband and I have a cookout. But usually we wind up telling them at the last minute, so not many show. So this time we decided to let them know about 2 weeks in advance what we're doing. We're having this cookout to show our appreciation to our first responders. That includes the fire department, the police department, the EMS, and also the ER. Especially right now with this COVID going on, you know, they're all having to work extra hard on it. And we just wanted, we're just having a simple little cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, potato salad, drinks, whatever, just to show them all that we appreciate what they do. And we decided to also invite the city officials along with it too.
Well, thank you,
'Cause
Debbie.
you guys are
We appreciate it.
backbone
very much.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes,
I
that
just
is great.
wanted to let everybody know. Anyway, commissioners, thank you for the budget. It is one of those that I know you worked hard and we appreciate your guidance. And I appreciate staff. Everybody gave a little and it was one of those that the budget, you know, now is needs instead of wants. So we'll keep doing that. We'll keep on trying to save taxpayers money through grants and going forward. But we know the public's out there tightening their belt during these times, and the city needs to tighten theirs too. So I appreciate your guidance through the whole process. And I just want to thank staff for moving forward. Last night we had a little weather, but it turned out it was more of tree branches that fell And I got to see some firsthand. Is one of the houses that line had been knocked down, and she came out and just thoroughly thanked the electric department, the gentleman that had already been out there and taken care of it. And it is, I know over the weekend, which you knew, there was, I think, Paul, you've sent in a thank you.
Yep. Northbrook on Sunday.
Yep.
Yep.
And I want to say that they're just out there doing their job, but it's amazing how well they do it.
They do a great job, all of them.
I just wanted to make you aware of that and thank the other departments. We are doing some things, we'll be doing some things over this next coming months. We do have, and I'm not going to officially say that today, but we do have Chuck retiring. And it is one of those things we're going to be doing, some reorganizing and those kind of things. But all in all, staff, I really, really appreciate what they're doing. And customer service, I know you stress it, but we're getting better and better. And, we'll someday be able to satisfy more, but we're at least working in that direction. So we're learning as we go. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
I don't have any right now.
I don't have any.
All right, we'll move to comments from commissioners and staff. Who's first? So I'll start, I guess, since no one else jumped in there. To Mark's point, I got kudos yesterday at work from my boss that the electric department came out on Sunday at 8:30. There was some concern about maybe getting electric back up and running, but within an hour, I had a new transformer set and back in action, and everything was good. So again, I think the professionalism that our group shows is fantastic, and it starts at the top. So I think our staff does a great job by starting that, leading by example, and that trickles down. So keep up the good work with that. The second thing is, I don't know who all gets to see the agenda, but our sales tax right now are doing very good. We are actually, for this month, through July, almost above last year's August, or at least equal to last year's August, but we're on pace of 2015's levels of income tax. So, hey, that just means people are staying in town and spending money locally. I think hopefully it's not just COVID that's helped that, but but it's many other things. So I think we're doing well there. Anyway, thank you.
I don't have anything.
You didn't have a thing this time.
Nope, everything's going along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about the sales tax. You did a great job. Looking at the chart, and don't quote me on this because I'm kind of gauging, but it looks like it hasn't been this high since 2007, which is amazing.
Yep.
So hopefully it's a trend. and we can
Whatever
keep-
Stephanie's doing, she's doing it right. Yeah. You take credit for that, won't you, Steph?
Really not much else.
Nope,
I think
not right
we
now.
all voted last week, right? We all got out and voted. It's going to be some change in the guards, it sounds like, within some local and I'm sure at the state level coming up here in the next few months. So be interesting to see how all that plays out. But I know the county commission is going to have some changes coming along before long. So
I did have one real quick one, Paul. And so I saw a census worker out in my neighborhood the other day. Just wondered if you know where we're at on getting the census done. Have you heard any?
The only thing is there has been census people still working on door to door, and they're on follow up. The notification is that they're still working.
yeah,
We
We
certainly want to
haven't-
encourage folks to get
We
their
haven't heard the
information.
final, and it adjusts to the percentage, that it went to 50% of it done, and then it's up. I do feel that we're moving closer to the end of the census. I think it's just been the odd of the situation we're in. But I did see last week a census worker working and going door to door. So.
Yep, go for it.
All right, so it's Pick on Stephanie night.
Hmm.
I asked,
Name that tune or what?
I asked yesterday for an update on the CBG CV. I've had a lot of business owners ask me, would you mind coming up and just kind of telling everybody where we're at?
Those applications have been received. MAC has reviewed those and then sent those along to staff. I have sent those now to the Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission, which is doing our administration of that program. She called me today, and she is actively contacting each one of those applicants because there are some additional things that we need in order to determine whether each one of those applicants actually qualify for the program or whether they'll be disqualified. So she will be making those contacts with each of those that applied. I believe we had 19 different businesses that applied for the funding. She and I did start discussions today on the meal program because we haven't really moved forward on that piece yet. So that is something that she and I are starting to work through, and we'll be trying to determine how we're going to move that piece of the program along as well.
Very good.
So.
And our timeline? You think?
I had asked her if we could please have them put together or have information put together so that we could have those for approval at our next commission meeting.
Okay.
She's told me today that she would try her best, but she's trying to get all of those entities to supply that information to her. Also, they are going to have to supply invoices to back up what they've requested, so she will start trying to gather all of that information as well. So.
Yep.
They're going to have documentation to show what they've spent the funds on and to be able to get reimbursement back for that. So we're trying to gather all that as well. So
Good.
It's our hope that to try to have it for the next meeting.
Good.
Thank
So
you.
Yes,
if
thank
one
you.
of those businesses have a question on that, who should they contact, Stacy?
They can either, I would say at this point, they can contact me. At my office, it's 252-6103. And then I can direct them, or I can try to answer their questions or direct them to Susan that's doing the administration of the program.
I can hear your phone ringing already.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. I'm learning as well, and as Susan explained to me today, this program from the state keeps changing daily. So she said we're getting constant updates as to what's allowed and what's not allowed, and
Susan's
so
really good at her job as well.
she's very thorough. Yes, she's very good.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, next meeting, can we try to get an update on Prosperity Builders, see where they're at?
Yes, I will.
I'd just like to hear kind of, there's
Yeah, I
been no
know
movement at that building and the for sale sign's still sitting out front. So that makes me a little concerned.
Yeah.
So,
I'll reach out and we'll find out where they're at.
good. Any other questions, comments from the commission, staff? Not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you, guys.